Money is a game. Yes, a game. And like every game, there are rules. The problem is that most people never learn the rules. You may think you are working hard, saving, and doing your best, but you are still losing. Why? Because you are playing without knowing the strategy. Imagine sitting down at a chessboard with a grandmaster and not even knowing how the pieces move. Who will win? Not you. That is exactly how money works. The rich understand the rules. They may not always tell you, but they live by certain principles. And many of those principles come from ideas that are hundreds of years old. One of the sharpest minds to ever write about power, control, and human behavior was Niccolo Machiavelli. He lived in the 1500s, but his lessons about power and survival still apply today, especially when it comes to money. So if you've ever wondered why you stay broke while others seem to rise higher and higher, this video is for you. We are going to explore Machiavelli's mindset and how it can teach you the truth about money. By the end, you will see money differently, not as paper, not as coins, but as a tool of power, freedom, and survival. Stay until the end, because one principle could change the way you play the game forever. Chapter 1. Why you stay broke. Let's be honest. You don't stay broke because you are stupid. You don't stay broke because you are lazy. You stay broke because you are playing the wrong game. Most of us were trained from childhood to follow the same path. Work hard in school, get good grades, find a safe job, and then live happily ever after. But life does not work that way. That story is not reality. It is a program. And who created this program? Not you. The rules were made by people who already had the money, the power, and the control. They want you to play the game in a way that benefits them, not you. Think about your daily life. You are told to work for a salary. That means someone else decides how much your time is worth. They decide if your hour is worth $10 or $100. No matter how much effort you give, the final decision is in their hands. You are told to save your money in the bank because it is safe. But what happens? Inflation slowly eats away at the value of your money. While your savings shrink in power, the bank uses your money to make bigger profits for itself. You are told to buy things you cannot afford so that you can look successful. And when you cannot pay right away, credit card companies are there, ready to trap you in debt. Month after month, you pay them more interest, and they grow richer while you stay stuck. Do you see the pattern? The system is not designed to help you win. It is designed to keep you in the role of a player who always loses. Machiavelli once said that men are driven by fear and desire. The rich know this truth very well. They know you fear being broke, so they keep you chasing stability. They sell you the dream of a safe job. But that job is designed to keep you dependent. They know you desire comfort, so they offer you products that feel good in the moment but bring long-term pain. A new phone, a shiny car, a bigger TV. All these things satisfy desire for a short while, but they drain your resources for years. Here's the reality. You are not broke because of bad luck. You are not broke because of fate. You are broke because you are being played in a game where the odds are against you. But here comes the good news. The game can be learned. You can understand the rules. You can stop being a pawn and start being a player. And once you learn the rules, you can begin to win. But first, you must accept one powerful truth. Money is not about working harder. Money is about strategy. Chapter 2. The Machiavellian Mindset. Niccolo Machiavelli was a man who lived during the 1500s, a time full of wars, politics, betrayal, and survival. He wrote a book called The Prince, one of the most famous works ever written about power. Many people, even today, call it dark, cruel, or even evil, because it explains how leaders often use manipulation, deception, and control to survive and win. But if you read it carefully, you notice something very important. It is not just a book about lies or tricks. It is a book about reality. Machiavelli did not describe the world as we wish it could be, fair, honest, and kind. He described the world as it actually is, unfair, competitive, and often brutal. And this is exactly why his principles are useful when we talk about money. If you want to escape being broke, you must first stop living in fantasy. Too many people believe in dreams that do not match reality. They believe life is fair. They believe that hard work is always rewarded. They believe that if they follow the rules, everything will eventually fall into place. But look around you. Is that really how the world works? Number. The truth is that everyone is acting out of self-interest. People protect their power. They protect their wealth. They will take advantage of you if you let them. Machiavelli saw this truth 500 years ago, and it has not changed. So how can you use this wisdom in your financial life? You must adopt what we can call the Machiavellian mindset. First, you must see money not as simple paper or coins, but as a tool for freedom, for influence, and for control. Money is not just what buys food or clothes. It is a weapon and a shield. With it, you can create opportunities. Without it, you are forced to depend on others. Second, you must learn to see people differently. Most of us think of others only as friends, family, or strangers. But in the money game, everyone is a player. Some play to win, some play to survive, and some play to control. If you don't recognize this, you will become a victim in their strategy. You must observe people like Machiavelli advised. Watch what they do, not what they say. Their actions reveal their true game. Finally, you must see opportunities where others only see problems. Most people panic when there is change, struggle, or crisis. But the Machiavellian mindset looks deeper. Every problem is also a chance to grow, to invest, to build, to create. This is how the rich think. They see opportunities hidden inside difficulties. Now let's be clear. Having a Machiavellian mindset does not mean being evil. It does not mean lying, cheating, or hurting others. What it means is being strategic. It means learning to think differently, to think like the rich, so you stop being controlled by the system. When you shift your mindset this way, you step out of the role of a powerless worker and step into the role of a powerful player. And that change is the first step toward winning the game of money. Chapter 3. Principle 1. Control the flow of money. Machiavelli once wrote that a leader must control his territory if he wants to stay in power. Without control, the leader becomes weak and enemies quickly take over. The same truth applies to your finances. Your territory is your money, and if you do not control it, someone else will. In fact, that is exactly what happens to most people. Their money is controlled not by them, but by others, by employers, by banks, by companies, and by the system itself. Think about your paycheck. The moment you receive it, the money starts flowing away from you. It goes to bills, rent, food, subscriptions, and entertainment. For many people, the money is gone within days, and they are left waiting for the next paycheck. The sad part is that most people never even know where their money truly goes. They do not track it. They do not measure it. They simply live in reaction, spending whenever something comes up and hoping that the next paycheck will save them. But hope is not a strategy. The rich play the game differently. They control the flow. They know exactly how much money is coming in and where it is going. They understand that every dollar is not just paper, it is power. They do not let their money slip away without a purpose. Instead, they direct it with intention. This is the difference between staying broke and building wealth. To play the money game, you must begin treating your money like an army. Every dollar is a soldier. If you waste your soldiers on battles that do not matter, expensive gadgets, useless luxuries, or impulse spending, you will lose the war. But if you send your soldiers into smart battles, they will come back with reinforcements. For example, if you invest in education, your skills will bring you higher income. If you invest in building assets like businesses or properties, those assets will send more money back to you. Why are so many people broke? Because their soldiers are leaving them faster than they return. They spend more than they earn. They borrow more than they can repay. They allow their money to serve other people's goals instead of their own. Why are the rich different? Because they make their money work for them. Their dollars do not sit idle. They move, multiply, and grow. The lesson is clear. You must control the flow. Know exactly where your money is going. Cut off wasteful spending. Direct your resources with purpose. Treat every dollar as a soldier fighting for your financial future. If you do this, you will not only protect your territory, you will expand it. And that is how you begin winning the game of money. Chapter 4. Principle 2. Appear strong even when you're weak. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must always appear powerful, even when he is not. People follow strength, not weakness. A leader who looks afraid, uncertain, or hesitant quickly loses the respect of his people, even if he is capable inside. This principle is not limited to politics or leadership. It applies directly to money and personal success. How you present yourself financially, how you carry yourself, and how you make decisions all shape the way others perceive you. And that perception directly affects the opportunities that come your way. Many people show weakness without even realizing it. Their money habits reveal their insecurities. They beg for discounts in ways that make them look desperate. They panic when faced with financial pressure, such as a sudden bill or an unexpected expense. They avoid risks and opportunities because fear dominates their thinking. This weakness is visible, and the world responds accordingly. Employers, investors, clients, and even friends tend to avoid people who appear financially fragile. Weakness repels opportunity. It closes doors before they even open. On the other hand, the rich and successful project confidence, even in difficult situations. They may not have large amounts of cash in their pocket at all times, but they carry themselves with control. They appear disciplined, capable, and strong. Because they appear strong, opportunities naturally come to them. People want to work with them, trust them, and include them in ventures. This is not magic. It is the power of perception. People respond to what they see, not what they assume. That is why appearances matter so much. If you act broke, you will be treated as broke. If you act weak, people will see you as powerless. If you act desperate, others will take advantage. But if you act confident, disciplined, and in control, people will respect you and your decisions. This does not mean you should spend money foolishly just to look wealthy. That is not strength. It is weakness in disguise. Machiavelli would never advise waste. True power comes from being strategic. The key is not to show off your money, but to show control, stability, and authority over it. Keep your financial situation private. No one needs to know if you are struggling, if you are saving, or if you are working to rebuild your finances. What others should see is your discipline, your focus, and your ability to make strong decisions. Stand tall in every room you enter. Speak clearly and with certainty about money and opportunity. Make decisions decisively. Even if you have little, project that you are in control of that little. Control is power, and people respond to power. Perception creates reality. If others see you as someone who manages money well, they will naturally trust you with more opportunities. Investors will invite you to projects. Employers will recognize your value. Clients will respect your worth. This respect translates directly into financial gains, even if you start from nothing. Weakness drives money away, but strength attracts it. Appear strong, even when you are weak, and over time, your appearance will become your reality. The world responds to confidence, and in the game of money, perception is often more powerful than reality. Chapter 5. Principle 3. Master risk like a prince. Life is full of risks. Every day, every decision, and every action carries a level of uncertainty. Niccolò Machiavelli, the great thinker of power and strategy, wrote that fortune favors the bold. In other words, those who act decisively, who dare to take action despite uncertainty, are the ones who create opportunities and achieve success. The rich understand this principle very well. They know that avoiding risk completely will keep them safe, but it will also keep them poor. To build wealth, they take calculated risks, not reckless ones, and they do so with strategy and preparation. Many people avoid risk entirely. They are afraid of losing, afraid of failure, and afraid of making mistakes. Because of this fear, they choose the safe path. They put their money in savings accounts that grow slowly while inflation quietly destroys its value. They stick to jobs that pay just enough to survive, afraid to explore business opportunities, investing, or new ventures. They avoid challenges and cling to stability, believing that safety is the path to financial freedom. Yet, by avoiding risk, they also avoid growth. They remain trapped in the same cycle year after year, watching others advance while they stay behind. Fear keeps them small. The rich, however, see risk differently. To them, risk is not something to avoid. It is something to master. They do not gamble blindly, but they study the field. They research opportunities, analyze data, and understand the possible outcomes before taking action. Then, when they are prepared, they move boldly. They invest in businesses, stocks, or properties. They try new ventures, expand their skills, and explore opportunities others would ignore. This is how empires were built in the past, and it is how wealth continues to be created today. Without calculated risk, progress is impossible. Mastering risk does not mean that every decision will succeed. Losses are inevitable. Every wealthy person has faced failure at some point. The difference is that they learn from failure, adjust their strategy, and keep moving forward. Failure is a teacher, not a punishment. If you want to stop being broke, you must also learn to embrace risk intelligently. Hesitation and fear will keep you trapped in mediocrity, but courage and preparation will open doors to opportunities that others cannot see. Fortune rewards those who act, those who step forward even when the outcome is uncertain. To master risk, start small and build confidence. Take opportunities where the potential reward outweighs the risk. Educate yourself, plan carefully, and act decisively. The more risks you take wisely, the more your confidence will grow, and the more your wealth will grow. Remember, wealth is not built by waiting for the perfect moment. It is built by bold action, even in imperfect conditions. Life will never be risk-free, but those who learn to navigate uncertainty will rise above fear, break free from financial limitations, and create a life of abundance. Fortune favors the bold, but only those who are prepared to act will truly claim it. Chapter 6. Principle 4. Control debt before debt controls you. Machiavelli warned leaders never to rely too much on others for survival. Dependence is weakness, and weakness is dangerous. In the world of money, debt is one of the greatest traps that keeps people broke. When you owe more than you can control, you are no longer free. Your money, your decisions, and even your time become controlled by creditors, banks, and lenders. Debt makes you dependent, and dependence is the opposite of power. The poor and unprepared fall into this trap every day, often without even realizing it. Credit cards, loans, and mortgages can be tools. They can be useful if used strategically and wisely. But most people use them carelessly. They borrow to consume, not to invest. They take loans to buy cars that lose value the moment they leave the dealership. They borrow for vacations, luxury gadgets, or designer clothes, things that give temporary pleasure but never bring lasting wealth. Every month, interest builds, and payments become a burden. Slowly, they become financial slaves, working not to build a future, but to pay for past mistakes. This is how debt destroys freedom. The rich, however, use debt differently. They treat it as a tool, not a trap. They borrow money strategically to acquire assets that generate income. A loan might be used to start a business that brings in profit, invest in property that appreciates over time, or fund opportunities that multiply their wealth. For them, debt becomes a weapon, not a chain. The key difference is purpose. While the unprepared borrow to appear rich, the wealthy borrow to grow their actual wealth. Debt without strategy is dangerous, but debt with strategy can accelerate financial freedom. To play the money game well, you must flip the script. First, understand that appearances are worthless if they cost more than they give you. Never use debt to look rich. A flashy lifestyle financed by credit cards is a short-term illusion and a long-term trap. Second, use debt only when it multiplies your wealth. If every dollar borrowed can return more than $1 in value, then it is a tool. If not, it is poison. Learn to distinguish between the two. Control debt before debt controls you. Finally, build discipline and awareness. Track every loan, every payment, every obligation. Understand interest, risks, and repayment plans. Avoid impulsive borrowing and only take calculated debt that strengthens your position. When you master this principle, debt no longer enslaves you. It becomes a weapon in your financial strategy. Freedom, control, and wealth come to those who respect the power of money and understand how to bend it to their will. Machiavelli taught the importance of preparation, strategy, and control. Apply the same mindset to debt, and you will never again be a servant to your own liabilities. Chapter 7. Principle 5. Build alliances. Machiavelli wrote that a wise ruler builds alliances because no one survives alone. Even the strongest leader cannot face enemies, challenges, and crises without allies. This principle applies directly to money and success. Financial independence is not achieved in isolation. Success is built through relationships, partnerships, and networks. Those who try to do everything alone often struggle, while those who build strong alliances multiply their power and opportunities. Many broke people make the mistake of trying to do everything by themselves. They distrust others or are too proud to ask for help. They believe that relying on someone else is a weakness. They think they must figure out every problem, make every decision, and carry every burden alone. Unfortunately, this mindset limits growth. One person can only work so many hours in a day, and one brain can only generate so many ideas. Alone, your power is limited. Alone, your vision may never become reality. The rich think differently. They understand that money is not just about working harder. It is about multiplying influence and resources. They surround themselves with strong players who complement their skills. Mentors teach them what took years to learn. Partners provide capital, ideas, or access to new markets. Communities offer support, accountability, and collective energy. By creating these alliances, the rich extend their reach far beyond what they could achieve alone. They know that collaboration does not weaken power. It amplifies it. Every great fortune in history was built with networks. The most successful business empires, investments, and innovations came from people who understood the importance of relationships. They formed partnerships with like-minded individuals, learned from those with experience, and strategically joined forces to create value. Even in modern times, the richest people, entrepreneurs, investors, and innovators, credit much of their success to the people they connected with. Alone, they would not have achieved nearly as much. To play the money game effectively, you must stop trying to be a lone hero. Begin building alliances intentionally. Seek mentors who have achieved what you aspire to accomplish. Partner with people whose skills, knowledge, or resources complement yours. Join communities, networks, or groups where ideas and opportunities flow freely. Value relationships and treat them strategically. Strong alliances create trust, access, and leverage, all of which are essential to creating wealth. Remember, your success is multiplied by the people you allow into your circle. Alliances do not mean dependency. They mean collaboration, strategy, and mutual benefit. Machiavelli understood that no ruler succeeds alone. In the same way, no one builds lasting wealth alone. Build your alliances carefully, nurture your relationships, and watch as the doors of opportunity open. Through alliances, you leverage more than just your time and effort. You multiply your influence, power, and ability to win the money game. Chapter 8. Principle 6. Fear or love? Which works with money? One of Machiavelli's most famous questions was simple yet profound. Is it better to be feared or loved? His answer was clear. If you cannot be both, it is safest to be feared. While this may sound harsh at first, it is actually a lesson about respect, authority, and influence. The same principle applies directly to money. How others perceive your relationship with money, your discipline, confidence, and control, determines whether they respect you or take advantage of you. In financial matters, people respond to strength, not weakness. If others see you as careless, impulsive, or desperate with money, they will exploit that. They will offer you bad deals, try to manipulate your decisions, or assume you are incapable of managing responsibility. Weak money habits invite exploitation, and those who do not respect your discipline will keep you stuck in financial struggle. On the other hand, if people see you as disciplined, strategic, and capable with money, they will respect you. Respect creates boundaries, protects your opportunities, and attracts better outcomes. This is the practical form of fear that Machiavelli referred to. Not fear in the sense of intimidation, but fear in the sense of recognition of your strength and competence. For example, consider unnecessary spending. If you say no to certain purchases, people might mock or question your choices at first. They may try to persuade you or tempt you to follow the crowd. But over time, they begin to recognize that you are serious about money, that you do not make careless decisions, and that you value long-term results over short-term pleasure. Similarly, if you refuse bad deals, shady investments, or risky opportunities without proper analysis, people learn that you cannot be tricked. Others begin to approach you with respect, knowing that your time, money, and decisions are not to be wasted. Love is nice, and collaboration and goodwill are important, but love alone does not protect you in the money game. People can admire your kindness or generosity, yet still take advantage of you if they perceive weakness. Fear, in Machiavelli's sense, is really about respect for your competence and control. If others respect your financial discipline, they will not try to manipulate you, cheat you, or offer you poor opportunities. That respect becomes a shield that safeguards your wealth and your position. To stop being broke, you must demand respect with your money habits. Set boundaries. Protect your resources. Make deliberate decisions. Let others fear wasting your time, fear offering you bad deals, and fear taking you lightly. This is not arrogance. It is strength. When people respect your discipline, you attract better opportunities, better partners, and better investments. Your financial life becomes safer, more strategic, and more profitable. Remember, in the game of money, respect is a form of power, and power creates freedom. Chapter 9. The Psychology of Winning the Game. At the heart of Machiavelli's teachings lies a deep understanding of human psychology. He understood people, their fears, their desires, their weaknesses, and the way they make decisions under pressure. He knew that power and influence are not just about money, weapons, or armies. They are about understanding minds. The same principle applies to wealth. If you want to win the game of money, you must first master the psychology of money, your own mind, and the way you approach opportunities, risk, and growth. The first step is to recognize the mindset that keeps most people broke. The broke mindset sees obstacles, limitations, and scarcity. It says, "I cannot afford it," when faced with an opportunity to invest in education, a skill, or a business. It says, "I will work harder," believing that long hours alone will create wealth. It focuses only on earning money, rather than building assets that generate money over time. It is a reactive mindset, always chasing income, always reacting to circumstances, and often driven by fear. The rich mindset, on the other hand, approaches money strategically. It asks, how can I afford it when facing an opportunity? This is not magic, it is creative problem solving. The rich do not wait for luck or handouts. They find ways to structure resources, time, and capital so that opportunities become possible. Instead of working harder blindly, they work smarter. They focus on high-value actions, leverage, and systems that multiply their effort. They do not just want more money, they want more assets, more control, and more financial influence. They understand that wealth grows when money works for them, not when they work solely for money. Your mind shapes your money more than anything else. If you think small, you will stay small. If you are focused only on short-term gains, you will never create lasting wealth. But if you think strategically, if you see opportunities where others see obstacles, and if you understand the psychological patterns that govern human behavior, you position yourself to rise above the majority. Every successful investor, entrepreneur, and leader understands the power of mindset. They see the world through a lens of possibility, risk, and strategic thinking. Winning the money game is not about luck. It is about mastery of thought, decision-making, and behavior. It is about understanding your own fears and desires, and the desires and fears of others who participate in the financial world. By cultivating a mindset of abundance, strategy, and control, you begin to act differently. You make decisions with confidence, anticipate challenges, and seize opportunities before others even notice them. Remember, money is not just numbers, it is psychology in action. Your habits, your beliefs, and your strategic thinking shape your financial destiny. If you master your mind, you master the game. Think strategically, act decisively, and cultivate the mindset of someone who is not limited by fear or circumstance. This is how the rich think, how they act, and how they win. Your mind is your most powerful asset. Invest in it wisely, and the rewards will follow. Final words. Learn the rules. Win the game. My dear friend, remember this. Money is a game. If you stay broke, it is not because you are not smart enough, capable enough, or hardworking enough. You stay broke because you are playing without knowing the rules. The rules are not about luck or talent. They are about strategy, mindset, and understanding how money works in the real world. Machiavelli's principles may have been written hundreds of years ago, but they reveal timeless truths about power, influence, and wealth. They show that survival and success belong to those who think clearly, act decisively, and understand the forces that shape outcomes. Control your money as a ruler controls his land. Every dollar is a soldier, and every decision is a battle. Appear strong, even when you feel weak, because perception is power. Take risks boldly but wisely, learning from every failure and adjusting your strategy. Use debt as a weapon, not as a chain, leveraging it only to create more wealth and opportunity. Build alliances that multiply your power. Surround yourself with mentors, partners, and communities that lift you higher. And above all, win respect through discipline, patience, and clear vision.